Well, Coach, you said earlier this week that on Hornet Talk that you guys need to embrace rivalries, and every place you've been, you've always been a part of a staff that's talked a lot about embracing rivalries and not a part of staffs that, sometimes will say, well, it's just another game. What does that mean to you, embracing the rivalry?
Well, I think embracing the rivalry means embracing the competition and embracing the fact that you're representing more than just your own team or your teammates in that particular game. You're representing a community, or at K-State, you're representing the K-State nation. When I was at Missouri Western and at Northwest Missouri State, I was on the opposite, on both sides of that rivalry at one time. Being here at Emporia State, you embrace the Turnpike Tussle. You embrace the fact that there's Washburn right up the highway, up the Turnpike, and you embrace the extra fans that maybe come to those games. In the big time, they're nationally broadcast, so you embrace that part of it. There's just so many things to embrace, and you kind of throw out the records, and that's really true in those games because everybody has a different meaning for embracing that, but I think you embrace every little bit of it.
Coach, I know it was much earlier on in the season, the first time you played them. It was a close game the first time you guys did win. Is there anything you can pull from that game as you go into the second game of the year with them, or it's a new kind of thing?
What's strange is to be in a rivalry game and one to be back on December 1st and one to be on March 1st, essentially. That's a long time between playing for both our teams. Both our teams have changed so much. I just look at our team right now in that we've played some better basketball the past 2 weeks, and we're just trying to build momentum and play our best basketball as we head into the MIAA tournament. I think the only thing you can draw on that first one is the fact that it was the first time, for me as a head coach here, for this group of young ladies to embrace that rivalry, and hopefully we've grown from that experience back in December, and then now that we're playing better, we're playing on the road. We're going up in their backyard, so that'll be exciting.
What are maybe some things you want to see as you prepare for the MIAA tournament next week?
Well, first things first is our focus is on Washburn, most obviously, and they pose some different problems. We've got to do a great job defensively getting back in transition. Dewey, the point guard, is phenomenal in pushing the basketball and really putting pressure on the other team's defense. We're going to have to meet that and be ready for that. And then they got the big post player inside that had a double-double on us the first game, and she's playing really well, and she's about 6'3", and that's bigger than what we have in our inside, so we're going to have to do a good job of helping each other when she gets the ball in the low post.
And your first year coaching this team, how have you maybe noticed this group grow over the year?
Well, I think we've grown in a lot of different ways. The ebbs and flows of a long season, and here we are at the final regular season game before we head in the tournament. I think the biggest thing that we struggled with probably is being consistent throughout the season, and hopefully we've grown through some of that, and it appears that we have because we've played better the last 2 weeks, is becoming more consistent and relying on each other a little bit better.
Thank you.
Vince?
Hey, Coach, obviously, you've been a part of the rivalry with KU, and obviously now your first time with obviously Washburn a couple months ago. Do you talk the importance of this game? And, obviously Washburn's the next, opponent on your schedule before the tournament. Do you talk the importance of this game and what it can do for, a program to pick up another win, especially 2 times in 1 year?
Yeah, I think you addressed Vince, you addressed the importance of the game on different levels. Our first level is that we're talking about continuing to play our best basketball into March. And then the next level is the personal nature of a rivalry. And it goes back to Blake's very first question of embracing that rivalry that we call the Turnpike Tussle in every which way that we can embrace that rivalry. And knowing that we're going up there, we talk about the importance of our preparation, and we'll address the fact that it's going to be, I would expect it to be a really good crowd up there, so we'll talk about that a little bit. and then we'll shrink it all the way back down to what we normally do for every game is let's see if we can't play the first 5 minutes of the best basketball we can and take it 5 minutes at a time, one possession at a time. And I know that's coach speak, but that's kind of our mantra.
You know, one last thing, Coach, is, you know, when you look at your team and you know, the areas that you guys are good at, obviously you guys are a good, you know, three-point shooting team. Is there something that you really are going to have to hone in on, your team specifically, to get that upper hand?
Yeah, we're going to have to do a better job. You know, when you talk about offensively and the three-point shot, we got to continue to strive to do a better job of getting the ball at the rim in order to play from the rim, from the inside outside. And without a true post in there, we've got to find different ways, and we have found different ways, different guards driving the ball in there, but getting the ball downhill in the paint and then being able to find our elite shooters like Gracie Gilpin out on the perimeter. And when we do that well, it opens up a little bit more space for her to find her shot. And, you know, she's leading the MIAA in threes, are tied for first. And we need to get her going, certainly in this game, particularly on the road.
Appreciate it, Coach. Thanks so much.
You bet, Vince. Thank you.
Glenn.
Coach, you mentioned Gracie there. I'm curious, can she, maybe even better than some of you guys, talk to the team about this rivalry and what it means? Because she's been around it for a long time.
You know, that's a good question, and I don't know how much she addressed it the first time, but certainly Gracie, being a homegrown product, understands all the rivalry games that occur between Emporia, back to Emporia High School and some of the Topeka schools, particularly, say, Washburn Rural, which, congratulations to Emporia High this year. I think it was a 17-year drought or something like that, crazy, that they hadn't beaten Washburn Rural. And Addie Kermer, who's going to be a member of our team next year, was part of that. And so, yeah, Gracie understands that part of the rivalry, and maybe she'll address it behind the scenes. And now you brought a good point to me. Maybe I'll have her address it.
Happy to help out with ideas, Coach. On the flip side of that, how do you balance that and the value of this game and embracing this rivalry without putting too much emphasis on this game or putting even pressure on your team of, oh, we have to win this game, and to where it could become overwhelming?
Yeah, that's a good question too. I've always been one to embrace the pressure. I mean, if you have pressure on you, I think that means you're in a pretty good spot. And I think great athletes perform the best under pressure. They just learn how to embrace it and manage it. And I think our best players always do that as well. They embrace it and they manage that pressure, and knowing that it's a big game. But I mean, maybe that's where it comes back to. If you practice that all season and put the emphasis on every game, performing to the very best of your ability, and putting that foot forward and allowing outcomes to kind of be what they are, then maybe that takes a little bit of that pressure off. You still got to be who you are and do what you do. And you got to do it well, and you should be doing it better than you've done it all year, because we're heading into March.
And last question for me, do you expect a little bit of extra juice from the opponent, given that it was a real close one when you guys played in Emporia this year?
Yeah, I hope so, and I hope so, and I hope our team has a little extra juice, and in part because of the rivalry, in part because it's going to be March, and we're starting the madness out with a Turnpike Tussle, and that's pretty special.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Coach.
You bet. Thanks, everyone.
Blake, you ready to go?
Well, Katie, in the game on Wednesday, you know, you guys fell down in the first quarter. It was kind of you kind of dragging the team along in the first half. And what did you have as your mindset of trying to keep the Lady Hornets in that ball game there at Pittsburgh?
We're going into March, and big thing in March is we have to try to improve every game. That's been our thing from the beginning of the year, and going into March, we just need to really just focus on getting better, so we really can't have those downfall games, and especially going into the tournament, we want to go as far as we can, obviously, so I feel like that was a really big push towards that.
And something that Coach O has talked about several times is, hey, we're embracing the rivalry. What's the message that you've received from Coach in terms about what you as a player and what you guys as a team need to do to embrace the Turnpike Tussle this week?
Well, it's just a big game, and it's kind of back home, like you have your high school rival, like you want to keep the cup, you want to keep the championship cup, and I feel like that's a big similarity to that.
Katie, how do you feel, obviously, kind of playing better basketball recently? What maybe has changed for you as you kind of, the season's kind of gone on?
I've just been focusing on finishing, and I really want to win. So that's really been the push, is just playing better, as I really want to win. I want our team to succeed and do well.
First year under Coach O, what has that been like as you kind of, I guess, how's it kind of gone as the years kind of gone along?
Yeah, it's been great. We've really improved as a team compared to last year. And one thing that we've really, I feel like it's gotten way better compared to last year, is like everyone's out there to play hard. And if you're not playing hard, then that's one thing you're not going to see the court as much. And I feel like that's a really big step in the right way for this program.
Thank you.
Vince.
Hey, Katie, sorry I'm driving, you can't see me, but I guess when you look at the last game a couple of months ago, obviously the team has, really changed, probably, I would imagine, in a lot of different facets. Do you look at that game a whole lot, or, do you, just kind of do what you guys have been learning the last couple of weeks and put it towards the game? How do you guys look at that approach?
Definitely, like, both teams have changed. It's been so long since we've played each other. Everyone has new parts. We probably both have new starting lineups at this point. So just really focusing on ourselves, and then we can change up how they've changed a little bit to maybe compensate for what it's been, but really just focusing on ourselves and focusing like how we can win this game.
And, obviously the importance is big, but, if you win this game, of course, it's a big momentum boost, going into the, tournament. And is that kind of what's being stressed in terms of, if you win this game, it's a big momentum boost, or it's just win no matter what and we'll worry about the tournament later?
I think it's kind of both. Like, it'll be great if we can get this win right before the tournament. It could be a good momentum turn, or give us confidence even in the tournament. But, I mean, obviously you want to win every game you play, so. But it would be great going into the tournament, ending on the regular season on a win.
And one last thing for me, you coached, or you've been with Coach O, and you see different styles of play in basketball at Washburn. What are you guys honing in specifically on to hopefully, limit them and maybe, use your strengths to maybe take advantage of something that they might be weak in at the same time?
Mm-hmm. When we focus on our scouting reports, it's really mostly like, what can we do? How can we play to our strengths, and how can we really not expose their weaknesses, but like focus on us more than them and like how they're going to do. Like, yes, we can shut down some of their plays, but if we focus on us, we can score on us. Like, we have put up many points this year, so that'll be a good focus for us.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Glenn.
Hey, Katie, I'm curious if you could just tell me about your first memory with this rivalry, or how you learned about it, or when you learned about it, when maybe you realized, there's a lot of passion behind when we play these guys.
My first memory of like getting ready to play them would be with Toby, and he was just on us all week long, how big this game was, like yelling at us, telling us how big this game was, and like practice was so hard going in that week, and then like once he walked into the building, because my first memory was at Washburn, and like it was just kind of like tense, like everyone was ready to play this game, ready to win and take it back.